Alright, this is video number 5, and I wanted to correct something that I said in video 3. When I say that I'm not going to build anything till these ships get to level 1940, I do realize that the 1940 shown here means that would be the next level that I researched. They're not at 1940 now, and this is what I mean. Once all of these show 1940, I did not actually literally mean that I wasn't going to build anything until I had them 1940s tech. I meant till I get everything here researched up until it shows 1940. So now that that's out of the way, off we go. Speed 5. Germany had just finished off Poland, and as you can see, working its way through Denmark. Let's see what we can come up with. That is the last one for Washington, D.C., which means I need to replace it with something, because I always want to keep a certain amount. And we'll go with Miami. I want to keep Miami, fill them up. Alright, and then we'll take off again. Alright, destroyer escort. 41. And I believe I was concentrating on, yes I was, on the fighter, the air tab. So again, we're picking out 36. Now, I've read a lot about these two being useless. I don't really care. I'm going to research the fighter. My theory is that I could go after bombers because they're more expensive and harder to replace. But by going after fighters, that allows me to gain air superiority quicker. And once if I can get air superiority, it doesn't matter what the enemy's putting up. I'm going to be able to take them down. That's my theory. That's what I'm going with. Now, I definitely want to do air-based strikes. Dover. Still got plenty more to go for Dover. How is Germany doing in Denmark? Almost done with Denmark. I figured that was 1940. I want to stop that there. Now, I do not research the whole TAC tree because I never do installation strike. I do air-based strike. I research tactical air command, logistical strike, and then TAC pilot and ground crew training. I do not do interdiction or installation. Logistical strike, for obvious reasons, that can come in very handy if you need to slow the enemy down by destroying the infrastructure, creating difficulties for them to get their supply. I'm going to leave that radar training on. Artillery, is that up to 1940s? Nope. Let that, is that up? Let's see, Finland. Carrier crew training. That's 38. Let's go with 36. Port strike. Marines. Let's go with naval air targeting. Light cruiser advanced aircraft design. That's good. Now we need to get the radar up so that we can put radar on our fighters. Let's keep getting 36 when we can. Strategic bombardment, 36. Now I will eventually get airborne assault tactics, but it's not, I don't really use paratroopers in a combat role like most people would, and I'll explain later in the game and you'll see what I mean by that. Alright, so that's all this 18s and 36s that I'm going to research for now. So now I'm going to go back and start on the 38s. Come on. Light cruiser and industrial efficiency. I'm gonna let that run again. It's only, and that closes out. It's everything I'm going to research in pilot training. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish off the TAC training. Because as the U.S. you start the game with some tactical bombers, but you do not start with strategic bombers. We've got 4 tactical bombers and 0 strategic bombers. Milwaukee, that finishes Milwaukee off, so let's find somewhere else. Now, I'm going to do Mobile because it seems like a good place to build factories, industry. It doesn't have one here. It doesn't have a port in this game, but I like the sound of that. Alright, Atlantic City's got more. Harrisburg's got more. Newark. Hartford. Austin. Rochester. And Portland. Alright, that's good. Now it looks like I've got excess. Excuse me one moment. Got excess capacity. So what I'm going to do is, now I want the reinforcements up, and now that I can upgrade everything and still have excess capacity, now's the time to throw in a plane, throw in an interceptor. I'm going to throw in 2 interceptors. Move them to the top. You see I'm at 310. 315. I just had all that industry come out, of course, so it's going to bump up. 316. That's good. I like that. Alright, it stopped at 316, so let's once again level out. Still not building in supplies. You can see it's January 1940 and I still have not built any supplies. Haven't produced any. First aid, alright. 42 is a good year. Alright, we're running out of energy now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with coal processing technologies, which actually increases your energy production by 10%. I may need to swap over. Looks like we're okay. Well, we're getting pretty close on rare material. So I'm gonna run a little bit of rare material research also. And we're definitely looking good as far as production is concerned. Now, some people might be a little concerned I don't have a lot of stuff in the queue yet. I do remember that Superior Firepower is coming out this month. So now's a good time for me to... Actually, I'm going to let it run a little bit more. I will throw in, since I've still got a little... I've got 9 extra IC. I'm going to put in a couple of destroyers. Now the next ships that I put in the build should be light cruisers. And the reason being, I've got those 3 carriers in research, and I'm going to want escorts for them that are the same level and have at least as much range as they do, or close to it. At any rate, better range than the current light cruisers that I have, and certainly better than the destroyers. What is Germany going to do now? Yes, Greece, you can have the A-25. There's that Superior Firepower, which is always excellent to get. We'll knock off TAC pilot training to complete the tactical tree. LA comes due with, alright, we'll let them continue on. Armored car, I know that's not up where I need to worry about it yet. We'll just let it continue rolling. New Orleans. That's good. What does Ireland want? A25, you can have it. Well, you can't have it, you can certainly give me money for it. Now everything that can be worked on is being worked on. I want to make sure I didn't remember if I'd done the rocket test site or not, but I can see one there. Electronic computing, I like that. In fact, I like that a lot. Now it's 1940. I could do nuclear research now. And in fact, I think I will start nuclear research now. Okay? Alright, definitely excess. We've got 11 excess points, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw in 2 light cruisers and put them at the top. My goal is always to keep the build queue full. I don't ever want any wasted. And we're in 1940, and this is a 1941. Is the next level I can research on education, so I'm going for it. You can never have too much research slots. Alright, Norway. Let's see how well they take out Norway, and I've got 5 additional. Alright, I'm going to throw in 1 more light cruiser. Throw it up to the top. Manpower is always good to get additional manpower. I'm going to go back now and complete the air research. And I've got 7 extra. IC to spin. Again, I don't want to waste it, so what do we want to put in? Well, we've got our, I can now make 5 brigades per division. So I'm going to start on 6 artillery. I'm going to build them as reserves. 6 artillery and 5 anti-tank, and that will complete 1 corps. That will be the first corps once I fill them out. And I will move all of this stuff to the bottom. The industries. I'll leave the escorts and the brigades up towards the top so they can be worked on. Now's going to come the time when I'm going to have to start worrying about my officer ratio, and there's that medium tank brigade, which I was waiting for to be able to research mechanized infantry. So I will now throw that in. I thought we'd be able to get that in 39, but looks like March 41. And indeed, if I had not let, in video 1, that I not let my spies run until March of that year, we would have already been able to research mechanized infantry. So that was a mistake on my part, but it's not game breaking, not that big of a deal. We got it in there now. And I want to move it to the top. That way it's easier for me to find, because that's the one I'm waiting on the most right now. Alright, encryption. Go ahead and complete the air tab. And we've got 10 excess. I'm going to throw in a strategic bomber, just because we don't have any. I realize it's double the amount of I have available right now, but this 6 will come down, and that'll get me closer in line to where I need to be. Encryption machine. And that completes that. Now I'm going to work on the strategic air command line, even though it's going to be a while before I need to worry about that. And I've got 5. It's like Germany invaded at Trondheim. Move this down. It's always interesting to me where they wind up invading. It just seems to me that it would be easier, logical, quicker for them to invade perhaps Oslo or even Bergen, but they went all the way over here. Interesting. Now they've got to run supplies all the way up and around the Royal Navy. It just seems so much easier if they did it here. Okay, industrial efficiency. I like that. Puts me back in the green by 4.41 energy. That's a good thing. Let's finish out the strategic bomber. Well, Luxembourg. $367 manpower, 15 excess. That would be, yeah, a lot of my escorts just came out of research. In fact, let's see what else came out. Ah, the Enterprise, my favorite ship. We're just going to toss him there, and we're going to take 2 CAGs, place them, rebase to carrier. And now, believe it or not, I'm going to throw in 2 battleships and move them to the top. The North Carolina and the Washington. When they come out, I will make the Washington my pride of the fleet. What just came out? The other 2 carriers. Didn't realize they were that close. Alright, then we'll move all CAGs. Rebase the carrier. And that gives me 10 extra. So that's 3 new carriers, 2 battleships, 3 light cruisers, and 2 destroyer flotillas, destroyer divisions. Now let's put in some multi-role, because remember that's the long distance. I'm going to use them in the Pacific. Move them to the top, and move that radar to the top, and let it go. Supply transportation advance. Now we'll put in supply organization. Large warship radar, I like that. Let's see if we've got... I'm gonna research landing craft now. Although I generally try to skip over landing craft and go straight to the assault ships. It may not be possible in this particular game. Let's see where we're setting at on bombers. I'm gonna upgrade. Well, before I do that, let me finish out the strategic. Okay, that will be the last thing. Netherlands join the Allies. Artillery. It's 32, 34. Alright, we'll still let that run. That brought that one up to 34. Looks like they're moving along nicely. Germany is. Combined arms is excellent. Definitely wanted that. Now I think, actually I said I would go to the bomber tree, but I'm gonna go back to here, to the land tree. There's that radar I've been waiting on. Now I can give it to my fighters. Definitely want that. And I'm going to go back. You know, I said the land tree, but I changed my mind. I'm going to go back to the naval tree. What just came up? A couple of fighters, that's good. Or interceptors, I should say. Which means I can toss 2 more back in there. 2 more interceptors. We've got a lot of upgrades to do, so I'm going to let them run. Shouldn't take too awful long. Small warship ASW. Back to the naval tree. We want to try to get carrier task force as a minimum before war starts. Although again, Japan is a secondary front for me as far as I'm concerned, so I'm not in any particular rush to engage them. That brings them up to 34 or 36. Norway's kaput. Now if Germany brings, what have we got here? France. That's, I've never seen that before. That's very interesting. France invades Norway. I like that, don't get me wrong. I think they would be better served by having all their troops back in France, though. Alright, for the love of freedom, stabbing them back. Yeah, we'll take that IC boost, which allows me to go to, basic mobilization, which means I'll get 25% more IC, but it also means that I have to pay more in tax. So instead of 0, I have to pay 4. But it's fine. Yes, Colombia, you can have the A25. Now that gives me a lot of extra IC. What will I do with it? Let's build... Actually, I want a couple more multi-rolls, even though the first 2 haven't come out of production yet. And since I can build... No, armor's way off for me. I'm right now, I'm all about airplanes, so I'm going to do 2 more interceptors because they're 27 IC and I've got 25 still excess, so we'll do 2 more interceptors. Again, for me, early game interceptors are much more needed. Oh, that gave me additional. Well, that's good. 39. Looks like I'm going to be able to get 40 into research. I will take it. And still leave just a little bit over. Well, they're moving. Just moving. Oh my God, they're already at Paris. Yeah, see, France, you shouldn't have... Look, they've already cleaned up Norway also. I'm going to let... Now, from this point on, I will let all the Air Force techs, the air techs, run until they're too far ahead of time, and then I'll take them out. We're still... I mean, the USA is still at least 18 months away from war, presumably. Yeah, there went Paris. $18. All right. Now, Jess, I'm going to put in 100 more convoys. I'm going to leave them low priority. The Germans don't really interfere with my convoys very often, but the Japanese really get into them from time to time. All right, let's throw in 3 heavy cruisers. Move them to the top. And I believe as soon as France falls, I'm going to end this video here. because we're getting to the point. Radar, and I think France just fell. Yep, radar, training advantage. Armored car, Germany enforced for all. Okay. We can take this off. I can put this in battle fleet concentration. Alright, well, France just fell. I've got some options here for national defense, so I'll pick that up on the next video. It looks like things are gonna probably on video, the very next video, things are going to start getting interesting for the USA. Looks like we've had, I didn't notice, I don't think, but we've had one radar installation come online, level 1. So that'll make a difference for defense for my fighters, or my multi-rolls that will be there. All right, so see you in the next video.